What's going on, everybody? This is Living in Arizona Now, and today we are going to talk about finding affordable housing in Arizona, Phoenix, Tucson. We've been hearing a lot of people asking this question. Hey, where do we find some affordable housing? The prices across the country are going up, but really people here in Arizona are kind of like, whoa, what's going on? Now, if you had bought your house in 2013, 2014, or maybe even as late as 2018, you're probably sitting pretty good right now. In several cases, or many instances, I've seen where people are paying double for rent than people with mortgages. So if you had followed your real estate agent's advice a few years ago and bought, you're sitting in a really good position, low interest rates. Your mortgage might be around $1,400, and in some areas across Phoenix, good luck trying to find a place in a good area, good safe area, good schools for less than $2,000 a month, even if it's a 2-bedroom apartment. So this has got a lot of buzz from people. They want to know what's going on, and that's what we're making this guide here for. So if you guys are ready for this, definitely smash the likes. I see already people dialing it in with 4 all the way up to 30 viewers, and we're going to talk about this. So you could see, before we do that, if you guys like seeing cool places around Arizona, because this has become popular on our channel, just getting out there and exploring, follow us on Instagram, Living in Arizona Now. It's the same name. You just search it, you'll find it. We've almost got 6,700 followers, so we're growing pretty quick over there. And this is none of the politics or none of the ridiculousness. This is all just exploration stuff from around Arizona. No news, no negativity, all rainbows, sunshine, sunsets, all that stuff. Also, you guys may have noticed the Cobra clothing brand now that I'm wearing the logo. We've got some of the clothing. Right now I'm in a test. I'm trying it out. We'll see how it works. But you can also follow Cobra Clothing, brand new. You can see we're going to be working on some of this stuff, like the Phoenix bird. This is the Phoenix Firebird on the back of the shirt. We've got some other logos that we're working on. Oh, he had commented. So yeah, Cobra Clothing. Cobra, in case you guys didn't know, is copper. We are the copper state out here in Arizona. That's why it's called Cobra Clothing. So Cobra in Spanish is copper. This is the copper state. That's where it got its name. So let's talk about this real quick. So we've got the Housing Phoenix Plan. In the city of Phoenix, with the situation with the sickness that happened, economic downturn, it intensified already existing housing crisis. So they're not able to build. There's a housing shortage. A lot of people moved here and there wasn't enough inventory. And the reason that people are moving here, which we will get into, is because there's a lot of big time tech jobs that are being built here. One of them being Taiwan semiconductor manufacturer. So some of you guys have already commented on this before, but TSMC, Taiwan Semi, they're actually building a massive plant out here in let's see, it's on the 303. Let's see if I can dial that in for you guys just to give you an idea if you guys wanted to see it. This area right here, this is a massive construction project going on right now. I mean, I think they said it's one of the biggest construction projects going on in all of the country. It's called, so it's a semiconductor plant, but this is just one of many massive technology companies being relocated right here in the middle of the desert. So people are moving here because the tech companies are settling and building it up. And so it's not just people who are trying to retire and get away from the snow and all that stuff. They're moving here because big tech is building infrastructure here. So you could see, this is on phoenix.gov. They're telling you straight up, according to the Housing and Urban Development Fair Market Rents in Arizona, the cost of a 2-bedroom apartment is $1,097. I'm calling BS on that, but I like data because it's reasonable, right? But the reason I say that is because I was just on rent.com right here. Some of you guys have asked where I check. I found some pretty good pricing, which I'm going to show you here in a moment. But really, across Phoenix Metro, I was doing some research. It's not just over 1,000. It's funny that that the data says that, but it's really not. They say the annual household income is $43,000, $889, and I know, or $892. I know the data is not necessarily wrong, but doesn't necessarily mean it's also accurate in the sense of what is really going on for the average person. So you could see Mayor Kate Gallego announces the first ever city housing Phoenix Plan. So she's got a Phoenix Plan, the mayor does, which establishes a goal of creating or preserving 50,000 homes by 2030 to address the housing shortage in Phoenix. So what's going on with this housing shortage? Well, it's a lot of different things that are adding into it, but as you guys know, there is a supply chain disruption and supply chain shortage taking place all across the United States in multiple different industries. There's a plastics shortage, there's a lumber shortage. This one here says that there's a chemical shortage. I mean, they can't get Petri for dishes. All these different things are adding in, and food shortages were a part of last year. Toilet paper, which everyone knows. So there was some hoarding. If you've got stuff, I would say now's a good time to probably practice taking care of the stuff you already have, because we don't know when these shortages are going to go away. It's kind of like if you have a house right now, you might want to take profit, but at the same time, you're like, well, I also don't want to step into a situation where there's no housing available, right? So it's twofold, right? There's a water shortage. You've got people saying things in the comments saying that there's a water shortage, which we just mentioned. Taylor Morrison Homes Builders in Arizona. Yeah, we got Taylor Morrison Homes. Townhouse near DC Ranch, originally $400K, now $750K. That's true. I will show you guys the housing prices, but the supply chain shortage, it's a big deal. It's not changing. So you're on Narada Real Estate Investments, Phoenix, Arizona housing market projections trends. What are they saying? I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Zillow was buying a lot of people's homes. Why would Zillow be buying people's homes? I know that there's a lot of billionaire interest that were investing in buying up people's homes at sky-high prices, which would lead me to believe that typically billionaires don't make bad investments. They don't become a billionaire by making a whole bunch of bad investments. So that would tell me that I would say that the market probably not going to stabilize or come down. Everyone's waiting for the bubble to pop and the market to collapse like 2007, 2008. But they're saying this is not going to happen. It's not going to happen like that this time around. They made some adjustments, and with inflation baked in, with quantitative easing, $7 trillion, I believe it was. Someone tried to tell me it wasn't $7 trillion, but last I heard, the stimulus packages, if you added them all up, were around $7 trillion in quantitative easing, which is about a 10% inflation of our money supply almost globally, right? I mean, that's really what we're looking at. So Zillow was going in and buying up a lot of these homes, and you could see a panel of Zillow economists expect the Phoenix will be America's second hottest housing market in 2021, headed into 2022. Austin, Texas heads a lineup. So these are the big ones: Phoenix, Austin, Nashville, Tampa, and Denver. So Phoenix is among the top 5. If you guys want to know what's going on down in old Tucson, down in the old Pueblo, you could see right here, cost of rent explodes in Tucson area. That's coming straight off K-Old News 13 down in old Tucson. So you can see, look at this. June 2020, up 0.7%. Whoa, June 2021, they went up a whole 2%. They like tripled. It tripled in price in Tucson, or tripled in percentage, not necessarily price. But still, I mean, some people would say that it's feels like it's tripled. So let's talk about some of these rents here. Where can you find cheap rent? Well, this area around I-10 and I-17. Now, I'm not necessarily recommending that you live there, because if I was to say there was one area where the drivers just really like to, poke at you a lot, it's I-17 and anywhere, basically south of the 101. For those of you who live in Arizona, you can tell me, what do you guys think about driving around I-17, south of 101 and north of I-10? I mean, I was driving out there yesterday, and the drivers were all over my butt. I mean, you couldn't even get over. They have no patience. I mean, you'll have one guy, the speed limit might be 45, 50. This guy's going 75, 80, and he's bobbing in and out of traffic. And every time someone's coming into the lanes, he's almost hitting them. And you're wondering, like, whoa, who is this guy and where's he coming from? I mean, those guys pop up probably at least once or twice a day, where they're just whizzing right by you, like double the speed limit. Welcome to Arizona, in case you didn't know. Oh, and by the way, if you guys wanted to see some of the comments we were having in our community chat, because we're actually building videos around this. One of them we did 2 days ago: should Arizona consider a high-speed rail? We got 2,000 votes. That means 2,000 of you in the audience voted. This is a real poll. This is not some media BS poll. This is the real deal. No artificial anything. 65% of Arizonans polled said build a high-speed rail system. 35% said no way. So you could see the majority of Arizonans, based on this poll, okay, now I don't know if it's just because of the people who subscribe to this channel are different, but 65% of you think we should build a high-speed rail network in Arizona. And most of you guys, if you read the comments right here, they said that it should be built from Phoenix to Tucson. Now, it seemed like the most vocal about it were the no's. So people who said yes, they didn't really do anything but just vote. The people who said no, they tended to leave a comment on this. So that's kind of interesting. We also did another comment here. What's your favorite small town in Arizona? It seemed like that was some interesting information for those of you who want to get that. But here's the big one. What advice would you give to Arizona newbies? Well, if you're a newbie, you should come over here and see what people were actually saying. You could see lots of comments. Don't freak out seeing someone carrying a gun and drinking lots of water. Well, I don't typically freak out if someone's drinking lots of water, but maybe if they had a gun on the hip, that might be a little intimidating for someone who's new, right? But anyway, do participate in these chats, because you could see, I mean, if 2,000 people are voting, that's a lot of pull. I mean, it's not 200,000 people, but for a small channel like this, 2,000 people voting, it gives you an insight. We actually did a post like that on Instagram, and same thing. I think 75% of people on Instagram wanted a high-speed rail. We got it, but like I said, it seemed like the people who were a no, they had a lot to say, and it was pretty much, look at California and how they failed. Why would you want to pay extra tax dollars? Here's the way I kind of approach that from that position. Number one is, you can't be scared to innovate. America was never built off fear and innovation. I mean, even if you look at what won World War II for the United States and the Allies, was the fact that we had this technology. It was called the assembly line. The Ford Motor Company and the General Motor Company had this assembly line. When Franklin Roosevelt went to the economic powerhouses of the time, GM being one of them, he said, look, we're outgunned. I mean, we were outgunned by Germany, I think 10-1. They had to pump out, they had to not just engineer weapons and tanks, okay, that they didn't have, they had to do it really quickly. They had to ramp up the military-industrial complex. And they were able to do that with innovation and technology. So one of the things that America has to do in order to stay competitive is be innovative and be creative. If we get too stuck in our ways, where we're too complacent, where we don't want to build new things or do anything because of money, et cetera, how are we going to compete with the rest of the world? Because the rest of the world is building. And that's the whole point. And so when you're taking a risk on something like high-speed rail and you're automatically saying it won't work, that's not the American spirit that built this country, was saying no. Because when someone said, we're going to land on the moon, you had people out there saying no. Well, now we landed on the moon. It was a space race, and a lot of technologies came from that. But here's the big thing with the funding, in my opinion, from what I've experienced. Look at inflation. For example, when they built Chase Field, where the Diamondbacks play, it used to be called Bank One Ballpark. Back in the 90s, that stadium was one of the most expensive stadiums ever built. Price tag around $320 million. Nowadays, when you build a baseball stadium, it's around about $1.5 billion. Well, it depends, obviously, but if you're building a state-of-the-art stadium like, remember when Texas Stadium, AT&T Field, was the first billion-dollar stadium? Nowadays, it's not uncommon for a new stadium. So what I'm saying is, inflation solves that over the time. So if we start building it now, it's expensive, but you look back 20 years from now, the inflation bakes in the debt, and then it covers it because it's just the way the inflation works. You know, for those of you who grew up in the 80s, you remember, man, I remember when I used to rent an apartment for $300. That same apartment in the same area might be going for something like, I don't know, $1,200 to $1,600 because of inflation. So you can't be scared to innovate because of price, okay? That's all I'm saying about that. So those of you who are scared about innovating, I would say that's not the American spirit that built this country, because we didn't build the airplane industry and so many other industries. The personal computer, the cell phone, all the innovation that came out of here came from forward-thinking progress. So something like the high-speed rail that the young people are asking for, I think taking a more advanced thought on growing out a extended network of high-speed rail. People always like to say the light rail system doesn't work because it's too slow. Who's going to ride the light rail that goes 35 miles an hour? Light rail is a third leg on a rail network. So you have high-speed rail goes 200 to 300 miles an hour. From that, you hop on a mid-speed rail, which is 60 to 70 miles an hour, and then you get on the light rails for short-term transit, not long-term transit. So the light rail will not work unless you build longer legs of rail. So light rail does not work as a long-range transit solution, just so you guys know. Anyways, when I say progressive, it's progress, and I believe in progress. Now, progressive is a word that's typically used that is not necessarily a good thing, but I do believe in progress. I mean, if you can't, unless you want to be like someone who lives in a cave and a caveman and say, I can't leave my cave because I reject progress, I'm like, okay. I mean, they always like to make fun of the people in Afghanistan because they still live in caves, but at the same time, it's like, do they have a forward progressive kind of mindset? Now, when I say progressive, by the way, I know what you guys are thinking, and no, I'm not talking about that kind of progressive. So anyway, so West says, is it true that most people in Arizona are transplants? Well, I mean, let's see. When I was a kid, I was born here in the 80s. Our population, I seem to remember Arizona's population being around 3 million. So in order for it to go from 3 million, we either had to have a baby boom or a transplant boom. And so I would say it's probably the transplants. Yeah, so it's definitely a transplant state. I remember in the 90s, we used to call it a city of transients. They don't really toss the word around transient anymore because a transient is kind of someone who's just coming and going. They're just kind of like, not necessarily nomadic, but they come and go. And that was like Phoenix in the 90s. I would say the best time for me growing up, anytime in Arizona, the 90s was like Phoenix's heyday. I mean, we were doing really good in the 90s. It seemed like just after that, the economy collapsed in 2007 was when Phoenix kind of came back down to zero and it like lost its credibility. But we're definitely on the recovery right now. So Clayton says, will apartment prices in Scottsdale go up more in 2022? Yeah, I mean, Scottsdale prices are definitely going up. I see a lot of buildings being built in Scottsdale that are apartments. I mean, if you go up and down Scottsdale Road, there's I probably counted at least 10 here recently, condos and apartment buildings being built along Scottsdale Road. But here we are on I-17. You can find rentals along I-17, for example, right here, 839. So they do have low-income housing, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 839 to 899. Again, this is more of a tough area, but it just depends. I mean, some people who live in this area will say, this is not a tough area. It's just, they'll live there and they won't have any issues. And then some people will say, well, that is a tough area. So you could see $778 for this 1 to 2 bedroom on Indian School Road. So now if you want to talk about Scottsdale, for example, let's just go right over here. I would say where they're building a lot is around this area. No, wait, the 101. Scottsdale right here. This is Kierland. It seemed like they were building a lot around Mayo Clinic and Scottsdale Road right here was getting a lot. So if I wanted to buy or rent an apartment, that one's $4,500. I don't think that's what you're looking for. Let's see if we could find something in the twos. So here's one just north Scottsdale, North Phoenix, around $2,000 to $3,400 depending on the floor plan and the size. Scottsdale's pretty expensive. Let's see if we can go find something down in Gilbert. Let's go down to Gilbert Chandler and see what the prices are. Scottsdale's going to be more expensive, obviously. Thanks to the 38 people who hit the likes. If you guys want me to keep going, definitely hit that likes. 1350 right here in Gilbert, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. This is actually probably the preferred area around Gilbert would be, I would say, Santan Village, I guess. Let's see what a place in Santan Village goes for. Well, this is a home, 4 bedroom, 2 bath home for $2,300. That's not bad, actually. That's a pretty good price for Gilbert. Here's one. Gilbert, 3 beds, 2.5 baths, 1975. So the price is 1,400 square feet. Not too bad again. Now you get a little bit more expensive. 3 beds, 2 baths, $3,000, 1,350 square feet. I don't know what the difference between this home and this home is, because this is actually a bigger home. So this is a bigger home going for like 2/3 of the price. So I guess that's kind of what you get down in Gilbert. It just depends on the neighborhood and how old it is, and maybe do they have a pool or something like that. It's going to factor in. Because out here in Arizona, when summer comes rolling around, you're going to probably want to be around water or a pool, whether it's a community center, a water park, or your own pool in your own backyard. I mean, it's obviously most convenient if you have your own pool and you're not too shy to pay that $50 to $60 a month for pool maintenance. So we'll see. And then if you go over towards downtown Phoenix, this is a popular area. I've been hearing a lot of people say they like living in downtown, believe it or not. I mean, downtown Phoenix is really becoming a spot. There's Roosevelt Row. I don't know why this thing's going wonky on me. Let's see here. I would put it at Midtown, maybe. By the way, guys, did you see that they were thinking about moving the Coyotes Arena to Rio Salado and Tempe? I think that's a great idea. Having to go all the way to the west side to watch the Coyotes, it's too far, man. I mean, it's bad enough you got to go all the way over there to watch the Cardinals play, but you know, I like the big toaster. Gila River Arena, that's not so amazing anyway. So, you know, you can live in downtown for around $1,400 to as high as $2,500 a month. So downtown Phoenix, from what I've been understanding, especially if you're single, solo, or you're, you got whatever, I don't know what your situation is, but downtown Phoenix I've been hearing pretty good reviews about, believe it or not. Spencer says, really bad idea. They need to move it downtown. Yeah, I mean, downtown, obviously centrally located. It's just they should have kept them at America West Arena or whatever it's called now. I think it's called FootJoy or something like that. They keep changing the name of the stadium. It was called Talking Stick Arena. And you know what that tells me? When they have to name it after one of the casinos, it's like they didn't have very many offers, but now that the Suns went to the finals, they actually got a reasonable sponsor, although I still haven't heard of them. It's not like State Farm Stadium like we have out in West Phoenix. But yeah, so let's pull this out here and talk about some of the areas to look for affordable housing. I would say the west side right here. Now, when it comes to the west side, if you want to avoid the crazy drivers, they're in Glendale. I mean, you guys could tell me right now, if you live in Arizona, where are the craziest drivers in Phoenix or Tucson, but where are they in Phoenix? Because we all know they exist. I mean, I would say Bell Road gets some pretty wild drivers, probably from about Tatum over. And I'm telling you, as someone who drives on these streets, I know where these crazy drivers are. I'm talking about people who just have no regard for anyone else on the road other than themselves. And if that means going double the speed limit and whizzing by you and weaving in and out of traffic with, it's funny because a lot of times they don't even have a license plate. It's like, where'd this dude get the car? Where'd he get the car? Or they're like a dealer car. So it seems like dudes who drive dealer cars, when I'm talking about dealers, I mean like used car dealers or whatever they are, they drive the craziest. I don't know what the deal is with that. Hampson says, stay away from the downtown, further the better. Well, sure, okay, I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. If you want central location, downtown Phoenix is going to have that, and it's getting better. But the area of Peoria is better. Peoria is kind of like Glendale, but it's a little bit less wild. Glendale is probably one of the most wild cities in Arizona, and a lot of people don't realize that. Another area, like Mesa, for example, like Mesa's good. Mesa's relaxed. It's kind of like Gilbert in a lot of areas, except for when you're around this little area right here. You got University, from University, Main Street, Broadway, Southern, just basically from north of the 60 along 87 all the way over. It's more or less like West Mesa. If you're in that area, you're going to be around people who are going to be, maybe trying to fight you or something like that. I mean, I'm not saying that it's happening or it's going to happen, but I'm just telling you. I mean, the road rage, the highest percentage of road rage is going to happen in like that area, Mesa, around probably, actually, I'd say Southern. Southern's pretty wild. This is a pretty wild area right here. It's kind of like near downtown Mesa. It's just south of downtown Mesa. And then the area around Phoenix where it used to be a lot worse, but I think it's getting better, is along Van Buren. It's Washington. And then there's another area like off of South Mountain. It's pretty tough down here. You pull into the gas station, you got to watch getting to making eye contact for too long, if you know what I mean. Someone says druggies. Yeah, I mean, that's most of the time that's what you're dealing with. It's just people who are kind of like they're either coming down or they're too ramped up on something. And so they're just, it's the epitome of polarization, bipolar, right? They're high, low, high, low, high, low. That's polarity, right? Like, what pole are you on? The North Pole or the South Pole today, bud? Okay. Do I need to? What side of the bed did you wake up on? That's where you're going to get kind of that kind of activity where people are a little bit feisty, if you know what I mean. But yeah, they have cleaned up some areas. I mean, they used to be even worse than they are now. So it's not like that. It's not. I don't know. It's just a matter of. I mean, you could easily go to like West Mesa and not have any problems. You could easily go to Glendale. I mean, I've gone to Glendale so many times, not had any issues. But I'm just saying, I could see how it could pop off because the way the drivers drive. If you're sitting there on your phone at the stoplight and you accidentally miss the red light or the green light, they'll lay on the horn and they'll come right up alongside you and they'll be like, "What the hell? What's wrong with you?" Or whatever it is. I'm just saying. And then when you get on the freeways, I mean, you're going to have people on bikes, motorcycles. Jeez. I don't know I'm surprised no one really had a comment to make about the crazy driving. Let's see. Some people said Northern Arizona. We'll talk about that in the video. Is Tucson dangerous? Nah, Tucson's pretty safe. I mean, they have tough areas, but I don't even think Phoenix is dangerous, really. I just think the driving is the biggest thing. That's why I think these alternative forms of transportation can take a stress off people because people get road rage just by standing in line and slow walkers. If you're in a crowded area and you have, like, let's just say you go to Country Thunder. I don't know if you guys are going to that festival. It's a country music festival. It's like we're pretty much out of the lockdowns and mandates out here in Arizona. It's pretty much wide open. Like everything's back to normal. I went to the Cardinals game. Wide open. So I would expect Country Thunder to be banging this year. I think Jason Aldean came into town. Some other people came into town. And it was just these concerts are selling out. These ball games are selling out. They're getting lots of people. But when you get in these crowds, people get road rage just by trying to get around people. I've talked to people. They're like, "Oh, man, I get road rage just walking through a crowd." So how do you get rid of congestion? And that's one of the reasons why high-speed rail seems to make sense is because, if you could take some of that pressure off the freeways. I know that there is definitely going to be people who are like, well, let's do it like Houston. Why not do 7-lane highways for a total of 14 lanes going in each direction? And I'm like, wow, really? You want to do 14-lane highways in Arizona too? Because, in Houston they have, I think it's 7 lanes, right? Do they have 7 lanes on each direction coming into downtown Houston? And they still got traffic problems. And so, I'm trying to get ahead of the curve. I'm one of those guys who'd rather be at the bus station waiting for the bus to show up than one of those guys who's showing up late trying to chase the bus. I've seen that all too often in Arizona where they'll build the highway system and then 5 years later, 10 years later, the whole thing's under construction for 2 years because they got to widen it. And I'm like, man, at what point are they just going to build them big enough right out of the gates? And even if you look at the Loop 202, the Southern Loop 202 down here, let me see this. All right, so we got Loop 202, right? Beautiful brand new highway. It doesn't even look like it's, let me see. They're not even on the map. Okay, so they built this 202, but is it 3 lanes? It's 3 lanes in each direction. That's a total of 6 lanes. This is a 6-lane highway. At some point in time, they're just going to say, okay, we got to widen it again. They even left a little area over here to widen it. My thing is, why are they going to do that to the flow of traffic a few years from now when they got to widen it because there's congestion? Now, the only reason this one might not get as much congestion is because this whole area over here is Gila River Indian Reservation. So it might not develop and build out. But if the demand for traffic between West Valley and East Valley grows, like if there's, for whatever reason, things that are unforeseen, there's what you can predict and project, and then there's the unforeseen future, right? So if in the unforeseen future there is a demand for traffic having to go from West Phoenix to East Phoenix, I mean, you know, they're going to have to widen that freeway. I mean, I've been hearing that it's already over congested down on South Mountain Freeway on the 202. Rick says, I'd say over 90% of drivers that tailgate are in pickups. Yeah, they're in pickups, or they're in like what is it? This Chevy Malibus. No, is it Chevy Malibu? No, man, it seemed like I was seeing a lot of Chevy Malibus just pull up, or it was like a Chevy, like a 2006 Chevy quality. I was noticing that, or like the Honda Civics. It all got the loud motors, but like a Honda Civic basically has like almost no horsepower, right? It's like, I mean, it's a 4-cylinder, right? It's a 4-banger, and these guys with these Civics, they like to put these mufflers on there, the exhaust. So they'll, you know, for Christmas they'll be like, Mom, I want a exhaust for my car. So they get an exhaust on their car, and man, they sound horrible. Like, it doesn't sound like a powerful engine. It's just loud. So literally, the only thing they're doing, and I used to be one of these guys who thought it was cool to get, you know, exhaust put on a 4-cylinder. But like, if I'm gonna get something that's gonna make noise, it better sound like, you know, I mean, a Harley. You know, the power's the sound's got to justify the power, or the power's got to justify the sound. But these guys getting these you know, cars, and then that's what I'm saying. So they get the noise, they get the exhaust, and then they want to whiz around the roads real fast because they got to show off to the people that they're around that they got the loud car. But it's like, so the loud exhaust makes them want to drive aggressive. Anyway, rant over on that, huh? Someone said, any affordable retirement areas in Scottsdale? No. I mean, the retirement area is 55 and older in Scottsdale. Scottsdale, if you're going to retire there, you got to be at least probably sitting on maybe realistically $100,000 to $200,000 in the bank, just kind of chilling there, and you got to have some sort of income because Scottsdale does get expensive. Someone's going to say, no, you don't. You can live paycheck to paycheck in Scottsdale. Yeah, you can, but I mean, if you're trying to retire, you know, that $2,000 is going to go away pretty quickly in this day and age. I mean, $200,000, that might last you 5 to 10 years depending on how frugal you are, especially moving forward with all the inflation. So retirement in Scottsdale, you got to at least be packing some money in the bank. Where the Scottsdale for seniors and affordable living is Sun City. It's on the west side, and the Scottsdale equivalent of retirement is Sun City Grand, this area right here. So they keep building out Sun City, this whole area around here. So you got old school Sun City, which is like more of the you know, no money or a little bit of a nest egg, kind of like older homes, mobile homes. No real yard maintenance. I mean, I'll just show you what a Sun City home is. But Scottsdale doesn't really have that retirement. They do, but the people who are retiring in Scottsdale, they're living in like True North. They got $1 million home, bought and paid for cash because they're a hedge fund manager or something like that. But this is like Sun City. This is how people are retiring. They do the dirt, rock, okay? They do the gravel yards, the cactus. So no maintenance. Palm trees, I mean, all this is how it is in Sun City. No maintenance. That's regular Sun City. Now, if you go out to Sun City Grand, which is like the Scottsdale of retirement communities in Arizona. So you got Sun City West, but here's Sun City Grand. You're going to notice it's a lot greener. This is a newer Sun City. Let's see here. Got to go into the community, but you can see it's greener. They got actual plants. They got trees, not just palm trees, you know. So if you're trying to retire, I would say it depends on your budget. But if you're going to retire in Scottsdale, I'll tell you where they retire. They don't do retirement homes. They get their own home. They get their own. They got their own little nest egg here. The people who retire in Scottsdale, like they'll be up in DC Ranch. Like here's DC Ranch, right? Someone was mentioning DC Ranch. Let's put it like this. You can't even take the Google guy into these communities because they're, you know, big money. But this is an example of like a DC ranch. You got the McDowell Mountains right over here. Nice, well manicured, pretty much like no crime. If it does happen, it's very seldom. There's no road rage out here. It's, you know, people are living like very like comfortably over here in DC Ranch, but they're paying, you know, for that kind of relaxation. That's DC Ranch. Now, the higher end of DC Ranch, let's see if I can get this thing all ironed out here. The even higher end is going to, obviously they got a Four Seasons up here, so you know what I'm talking about when I say that, because you know who just bought Four Seasons, right? Who knows who bought Four Seasons? Let's see here. His name is Bill Gates. Bill Gates now owns Four Seasons hotels, from our controlling stake of Four Seasons. But anyways, this is the area around Troon, around Pinnacle Peak. This is the big dollar. This is the big dollars right here. These homes aren't made. I don't even think they build these out of wood frame. I think they're like block homes. Well, they're probably wood. This is probably a wood stucco home. If you guys know the difference between a wood stucco home and block, like block is definitely more resilient, but they say these toothpick homes with wood are more sustainable. I don't know. Latanya says Sun City is nice. Sun City is nice. I mean, like I said, there's 3 different areas of Sun City. There's Sun City Grand, Sun City West, and then Sun City. Sun City was a master plan community by Del Webb back in the, I want to say in the 60s or 70s. It was like one of the first master plan retirement communities ever. So, yeah. But this is Troon. This is where people with money retire. If you want like land, like if you want to live on acres and you're a little bit of a cowboy, or you know you like horses, because that's a big thing out here, check out Rio Verde. This used to be Dynamite, but now it's called Rio Verde. And I actually like going hiking out here. If you guys just ever want an excuse to go find a nice hike, check out this area around Troon. But what you do is you go to like this mountain right here. It's called Browns Mountain. You can see lots of wildlife out here. I mean, there's wildlife. You'll definitely get some good wildlife. It's a very wild area. But you have Cone Mountain, okay? It's good. It's just a good hike. I mean, if you're looking for some hikes, we're actually going to make a video about the best hikes in Arizona, or in Phoenix, I should say, because I think people like to get outdoors and hike, but they don't know where to go. But this one right here, Browns Mountain, then there's this one over here, Granite Mountain Trailhead. Really good if you like to bike. If you're into biking, mountain biking, like I like mountain biking, I'm probably going to get a bike, but this is kind of like the trails out there. But, you know, you can see it's lush. It's a higher desert. This is like during the winter time when it snows, they'll get snow. There'll be snow up here. So that's good. But this whole area around here, just on the other side of the people with money, you get more of the like cowboy people, or like more of the horseback riders, if you want to call them that. They build these ranches, these ranch style homes. You know, look at, see, they have like acres, right? They got a pool. This is horse property. So that's why they get 2 to 3 acres. But you don't have to be a horse person to live out here. It's just that's who your neighbors are going to be. Like this guy, what's he got? Like I mean, I don't want to zoom in too much on his yard, but you get the idea, guys. But if you want big land and you want to retire on a big piece of property, check out this area called Rio Verde. And it's actually kind of cool because it's close to the Verde River. Because remember, the Verde River comes down from the Verde Valley, right? So this is the Verde River. It connects with Bartlett. You go up above Bartlett. This is a good place to go if you guys just want to check out you know, going around in a boat. Like if you want a boat to check out, a lot of people go to Bartlett. They even got stand-up paddle boarding out at Bartlett Lake. But then you got Horseshoe Reservoir. Like no one goes really up to Horseshoe. I mean, if they do, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like everyone goes to Bartlett, but Horseshoe Reservoir right here, and then right above Horseshoe is basically the tributary of the Verde River. So the river is what creates these reservoirs. We actually made a video on Sheep's Bridge. For those of you who saw our video on Sheep's Crossing, that was out there. See, this is Sheep's Bridge. There's a history behind that too, which was it's called Sheep's Bridge because they used to run sheep, like cattle runs. They used to run sheep out there, okay? The way you get out to Sheep's Bridge is kind of tricky. You got to go, for those of you who saw our video, I'll just show you because I know some of you guys want this information. We did make a video right here, this hidden desert lagoon hike in the Seven Springs. That was like that area, okay? That was just a more recent one. So it's the hidden desert lagoon hike that we did. If you go up into here, That's Seven Springs. We went up to this observatory, as a matter of fact. Let me get off that right here. So you got observatory, which is where we went up to. This is a weather beacon right here. It looks like a golf ball. And then over here you got Seven Springs, and that's that trailhead. But over here, you go up to the observatory, you could see the Horseshoe Reservoir. And you could kind of see Sheep Bridge, okay? But that's the Verde River, right? Clayton says, my friend's dad just retired in Rio Verde a year ago. Great spot. Yeah, Rio Verde is still where you can get some property. I can show you guys where you guys can get some more property. This is the area I would look at. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button if you haven't already to help get this out, to help get this video out there so I can keep going. We got 217 people watching, but if you guys smash that like, it helps get this video popping off with the algorithm. So let's see, we're at 97 now. Let's see if you guys hit it hard. All right, so I want to show you, this is the area that I like right here. It's definitely building up. It's building up faster than I would. I mean, it's kind of crazy because you go to one of these areas, it's double-sided. It's like if that's your retirement home, you don't want it to grow too fast. But if it's like a nest egg investment, you want to live there for 10 to 15 years and then cash out for a pretty penny. That's kind of what this area is because it's growing so fast. I can show you the areas where I think the growth will happen. But if you go up into here, this is New River, right? So you got New River. This is all up in New River. Just above Anthem, okay? You got Lake Pleasant right over here. They don't really build homes over on this side yet. I don't know if they're ever going to, but you can see Anthem is kind of reaching out west of that area, right? You got New River Road and all that stuff. But you have the main Anthem right there. But out up over here, you got Wrangler's Roost. This is New River Road. This area right here, you can get some pretty rural lifestyle. You can see like that house is under construction. I mean, they're building out here, but it's not crazy, chaotic city urban lifestyle. It's still acreage and desert and houses. So you're not gonna, it's like that, right? And they got a lot of land out there in New River. There's a lot of area to build, but the people out in New River, they like to keep it small, but it's growing all around them. And it has nothing to do with anything I say or someone else says. It's just people find out where they buy land and that's where they go. But if you wanted to kind of get ahead of the curve and really get out there, there's a place called Black Canyon City. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but in Black Canyon City, it's right here along the I-17. I think they're going to be building up in this little area right here. This is probably about 30 to 45 minutes from Phoenix, so that's a good area. Black Canyon City, you're far enough out there, but if you can get property up in here, it will grow into that area. They will build around that area. Now you got Lake Pleasant. I always thought they should at least build some homes around Lake Pleasant, but they don't. I know people are going to be like, no, excuse me, no way. Did you just say that? Well, they kind of already do because they let these mobile home people. These people who drive these mobile homes. If you're a retirement person and you want to come here in the winter, here's a retirement mobile home park that you should check out. The one at Lake Pleasant. Look at all those mobile homes. I mean, you go up in there, it's like a whole community all in of itself. Look at all those mobile homes. Those are all snowbirds posted up at Lake Pleasant. So what I'm saying is they already kind of do it. But, I mean, if you wanted waterfront property in Arizona, I mean, it would be beautiful to have a home on Lake Pleasant. They're not going to do it, though. I think it's part of the drinking water. This is Colorado River water anyway. But, yeah, so we'll see about that. Someone said Facebook is building a giant facility near Phoenix. It's like a million square feet. Yeah, so you got Taiwan Semiconductor. You got Facebook building out here. From what I understood, Google's building a gigafactory. Amazon has these fulfillment centers. By the way, guys, speaking of that, on my other channel, Urban J Reviews, I have like a review channel. I did EDC for those of you who do everyday carry, what I carry every day with me, So that's everyday carry is what's in my pockets. I did these Ray-Bans by Facebook, but I did a Caseri air fryer, Pit Viper sunglasses, best juicer, best handheld. You guys can follow me over there. It's Urban J Reviews. I'll put a link in the description, by the way. But the reason I say that is because I'm going to go to one of these what is it called? Amazon Fulfillment Center, right? And I'm going to buy one of those pallets. So when someone returns the goods, when you return something to Amazon, logistically, it just doesn't make sense for them to repackage it and try to sell it and then have to deal with the headache of trying to send it out to someone with a missing part or something. So they put them into these pallets, and you can go to the Amazon fulfillment center and buy the pallets. But it's like a crapshoot. It's like one of those like Garage Wars, you know, that show Garage Wars, where you don't know how much you're going to have to pay for it. So on Urban J Reviews, I'm going to try and buy a pallet and see what comes in the pallet, like one of those big tall pallets for $600 and see what's in there. I mean, I watched this one person, they came up with like $3,400 worth of inventory. The thing is, it might not be worth your time, because once you factor in the headache that goes into unboxing it and seeing everything in the inventory, then you got to try and sell it on Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp. Sometimes the products are missing like a piece or a part, and it might be worth $3,500 in inventory, but you're not going to be able to sell it for $3,500, are you? No, you're probably going to be able to sell it for like $2,000 tops. So your profit is like $1,400, and then it depends on how long it takes you to sell that. But it's like a little side thing you can do out of your garage if you guys wanted to come across some money. But it's the Amazon fulfillment centers exchange the returns. Okay, does that make sense? That's why I'm telling you, follow me on Urban J Reviews, because we're going to do one of those. We're going to buy a pallet if you guys are interested in it's like I said, it's like a storage wars. It's like a little thing. I want to see how much I want to see how much we can make. But that's what the cool thing is. I'll get a bunch of products that I can review and tell you what sucks and what's good and what's not. I mean, we've gotten. I could be a little bit more critical over there, but it's good. It's all good, anyways. Oh man, my WhatsApp. Okay, so Spencer says, where do they feed sheep? They don't. Man, they got donkeys out in. They got mules, actually. There's mules in Lake Pleasant, not sheep. If Arizona is passionate and you are financially challenged, Snowflake Taylor is a very affordable, very religious, and conservative as well. I mean, yeah, we can go up to Snowflake and Taylor, this area right here. It's LDS. So if you're religious, if you're religious in the sense that you're a part of the LDS, so Snowflake and Taylor are both like that. Which I'm not saying. I think it's fine. I think they'll welcome. I don't. It's safe. It's safe, actually. That's what you get in one of these LDS communities. A lot of safe. They stick together because they're very organized. So they have a very organized, tight-knit community. And from what I understand is they're pretty welcoming. They're tolerant of everyone in the sense that even if you're not LDS, they're still tolerant. They're not going to they ask you if you want to come to church, but they're not going to ram it down your throat. And if you invite them over for beers, they're like, oh, we'll come over, but we're going to drink our soda and not beer. So it's like you could have worse neighbors than that, right? I'm sorry my neighbor won't drink a beer with me. Oh, gee. Yes, Toyota says Safford is like that. They will welcome outsiders. Safford's down south. Oh man, Safford right here. I went to Safford. It seemed like it was a mining community. It's actually kind of close to Morenci. Isn't it close to Morenci? Yeah, there's Morenci. It's nice out there. It's along the Gila River, Look at, they got a regional airport. I wonder does any commercial airliners fly in there? They got Mount Graham right here. Beautiful. Yeah, Safford's if you're looking for a really relaxed place with, not a lot of activity, I would say Safford, Thatcher. They've got a couple towns all along the 70 here, from Pima, Central, Thatcher, Safford. Even if you go over here, you got Cactus Flat, it seemed like that was a lot of mobile homes also. I know a lot of you guys, some of you guys out there are actually into mobile homes, or what are they, RVs? It's like a popular thing. Jeff, you don't have a video on Sierra Vista. I do have a video on Sierra Vista, but not a full exclusive video on Sierra Vista. I did, what did I do? I did Arizona Wine Country. Let's see here. This one. So Tubac, Nogales, Patagonia, and more. But in that Tubac, Patagonia, and more, we went down to Sierra Vista. Let me see. This is a good video. You guys should watch it because it's Southern Arizona, but it's more than just one. Oh, look, we got some of our Cobra clothing right here, the merchandise right here. This is Teespring. It's not the end goal. The end goal is not Teespring, but it's cool if you guys wanted to just get something out of the box, like a sweater or something right here. It's a hoodie, you know. It's Teespring quality. I ordered some of it, but you know, it's got the Phoenix bird on the front. You know, it's just something to wear if you guys are looking for something. That is a custom logo. The way I got the Phoenix idea, obviously we had the Phoenix Firebirds. For those of you who remember the baseball team, they were the AAA team for the Diamondbacks, but then you have the Phoenix logo, obviously for the city of Phoenix. You got that? And no, our logo is not the same. It's a different head and a little bit different wings, but it's kind of similar in that of the city of Phoenix. And then there's the Phoenician Resort, but a phoenix, a thunderbird, is a bird that rises from the ashes. That's what Phoenix is a civilization that rose from another civilization from the Ho'okamm. Emily says, got to get lucky, but super affordable is where? Prescott? Ooh, Prescott. You found $800 a month in Prescott? Dang. Someone hire her to be your whatever. if she can find $800 in Prescott, that's impressive, because that, like she said, it takes a lot of, you got to be super lucky, but it also takes some work, for sure. Benson, oh yeah, Shamai, he said put the Living in Arizona logo on there. I live in Rio Rico. Nogales, Sonora is what makes this place. Yeah, Sonora Desert. Are you talking about Sonora, Mexico? So he's down here. He said he's in Rio Rico. Well, we all know Rio Rico's right here on the border, right? There's Nogales. The American side of Nogales is small compared to the Mexico side of Nogales. So that's Nogales. Nogales keeps growing though. It's not quite like El Paso and Juarez. The borderplex complex of Juarez and El Paso is huge. I think like El Paso has 1.3 million, and then Juarez has like 1.3 million. So the whole metro area, if you include both, is pretty big. I think I don't know if the one in Tijuana might be bigger though, for sure, because Tijuana, you got Tijuana and then you got San Diego. So that borderplex is huge. I think Tijuana's got like 1.3 million. San Diego has around, if you include El Cajon, La Mesa, Chula Vista, I think San Diego's got like 2 million. So you're looking at, I mean, I would say Tijuana and San Diego is probably bigger than Phoenix Metro, if you include the whole thing with the borderplex. Because even if I would say that you got to include Rosarito, I mean, in Tijuana, but talking about the borderplex in Arizona is mostly Nogales right here, which is where he's at. He's saying, yeah, not much to do, but Mexico is what makes it better. Yeah, going into Mexico is what makes it better. Sonora, Mexico. And in case you guys didn't know, this Arizona was a part of Mexico at one point. So the Sonoran Desert takes its name from the original who we once were, because Arizona was established in 1914 on Valentine's Day. We're like the 48th state, right? So but before that, you know, they purchased the land. It was called the Gadsden Purchase. Maybe in the 1800s they did that, and we were a territory for a long time, but that's only 100 years. But here's Sonora, Mexico. I mean, it's kind of like it's Arizona's brother down in Sonora, you know. A says, I pay $900 a month in mortgage for a giant home. Hey, thanks to all the new subscribers. I see you guys coming in that are just first-time viewers actually subscribing, so welcome. Someone says, snoring desert. It's loud. I mean, the desert this year, we got so much rain. It's loud. It's snoring. It sounds like it's snoring, especially those cicadas. The cicadas, and then you hear the birds. I love the quail. I'm a big fan of quail. I think for those of you who don't know what a quail is, it's like Arizona's little pheasant. They got this little like radar beacon at the top. They're almost as cool. They're almost as cool as a roadrunner. Like some of my favorite animals in the Sonoran Desert that I personally like. I like a jackrabbit. You have the little bunny rabbit, which you see very common. The little gray bunny, And you'll see those pretty much anywhere. I mean, sometimes you'll find a wounded one that maybe got like away from a coyote or got bit by a venomous something or something like that. But then you have quail, and you'll see quail eggs. Don't touch them, but you'll see the little quail eggs in sometimes when you're in the desert walking around the quail. But they make a really cool noise. It's like a boop, boop. I can't do a quail noise, but it's pretty cool. Rick calls them desert chickens. Yeah, because I think some people actually eat them. I've never eaten quail personally, I don't think. But anyway, so I like quail, I like roadrunners, I like jackrabbits. Believe it or not, I think it's cool to see a rattlesnake out there. I mean, obviously, I'm not trying to taunt a rattler, but if you're ever out on a hike and you see a rattler, it definitely adds some excitement to your journey. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I love snakes, but it's kind of cool to see a rattler, especially if it's like coiled up somewhere up in a cactus or something like that. I love bobcats. Like, speaking of bobcats, they'll go up into cactuses. They'll climb, a bobcat will climb a saguaro, okay? That's a wildcat. But wildcats are all over the country, though. It's not just something out here in the Sonoran Desert. Coyotes, they can be cool as long as they're not rabid. If they're rabid, no one likes a coyote. Rick says quails are fast food. Harris hawks, yeah, Harris hawks are pretty cool. If you guys see a Harris hawk, we even get some eagles out here. Some of the best bird watching for you nature wildlife people. If you go down here, I talked about this several times, but in the Chiricahua mountain range. So in the Chiricahuas, they have actually spotted. This is southeastern Arizona. They've spotted a jaguar, a Mexican jaguar. They've spotted I think a lynx or some sort of like ocelot. So Arizona used to have more jaguars and more ocelots. Now we just have bobcats and pumas. But the Mexican jaguar, they have had a spotting or a sighting in the Chiricahuas right here. That's why I really like the Chiricahuas. You guys have been watching this. Yeah, they get black bears out there. Tons of deer out in the Chiricahuas. If you're an animal, a predatory animal in the Chiricahuas, you're eating good with all those deer. Have you guys ever been down to the Chiricahuas? Madera Canyon is great for wildlife spotting. So Madera Canyon, I think that's over here by, right here is Madera Canyon. So this is in by Mount Wrightson. This is kind of like, so you got Patagonia over here, right? There's Patagonia, and then you have Mount Wrightson, Madera Canyon. Let me see if I can get the little guy to go up in here. But this is where, yeah, it's beautiful down here, isn't it? I mean, oh, is this a trail? Wow, Google Maps, someone went on the trail and actually did a 360 with the Google Map thing on a trail. That's cool. I wonder if he spotted any wildlife while he was hiking out here. But the cool thing is when they do this, you could see what it looks like if you actually do the trail, right? But you got a mixed variety of terrain here. You got cactuses, yuccas. You got some what look like pine trees, ponderosas, maybe some juniper trees, jojoba trees. Yeah. So, and you can see the exposed pipe right here. So they're running a pipe up here. It's probably erosion uncovered that pipe, but that's not uncommon to see that. And typically they'll have a pipe going from a stream to like a horse trough or a cattle trough, or maybe someone's cabin. I mean, I don't know exactly why they have that pipe. Maybe it's electrical even, because you never know. But this is what it looks like to hike up in Madera Canyon, right? But there's tons of these hikes. I mean, if you look out here, each one of these mountains that has a little green fuzzy top, I mean, if you counted all the green fuzzy top mountains, each one of them has like a wildlife range. You got Madera Canyon on Mount Wrightson, beautiful, right? Then you got over here, you got, that's over there by Ramsey Canyon. You got Garden Canyon Pictoglyph. This is Miller Peak. That's out there by Sierra Vista. And then, like I just showed you, the Chiricahuas. And then you got another one right here. There's Chiricahuas. You got Mika Mountain, Mount Graham, Mount Lemon, Kit Peak. Kit Peak's crazy up here. I mean, you guys can do some hikes around Kit Peak. They got an observatory up on Kit Peak. There's a lot of places. That's what I'm saying. Like, anyone who's bored in Arizona, they just don't know how to explore, because that's just southern Arizona. We haven't even talked. Well, look at Oregon Pipe right here. I would not go to Oregon Pipe in the in the summer. You could have Oregon pipe in the summer, but in the winter, I'll go to Oregon pipe all day long. See these cactuses? They kind of look like saguaros, but they're not. But it's beautiful down in Oregon pipe. You can camp down here. But Oregon pipe is a national park. It's a beautiful place. Totally exotic cactus life down there. And then you got Saguaro National Park, which is out there by Tucson. Right here. They got two sides to it. There's that side of Saguaro National Park, and then there's the Saguaro National Park over here. Beautiful area. They got a cave out here. You got Manning Camp Trail. Where's the Colossal Cave? If you go to Colossal Cave, check this cave out. They got trails around there, and then you can go into the cave. That's Colossal Cave. It's not the only cave down there, because there's another one called Karchner. Or is that the one in New Mexico? Yeah, no. The one in Arizona is called Karchner. Carlsbad Caverns is in New Mexico, which is over, see, right next to Apache Peak. See, this is Karchner. And, you know, they show you some of the animals that used to live out here. There's an agave. It's an aloe vera. That's how they make tequila, is from the agave. So if you got those in your backyard, you're close to being able to ferment and brew some mezcal or some tequila. If you got some agave. A lot of people put agave, like if you get sunburn, they say, you know, you go out to your agave plant and you take the agave stuff and you put it on you. It's supposedly good for you if you get sunburn. The agave. What about the white tanks? The white tanks, I mean, yeah, the white tanks are only popular because they're around Phoenix, but they're a beautiful mountain range. They've been carving it up. They've been doing some land movement, like big old land movers go up in here and they like pull dirt out of here. I think it's a concrete, but they call it the top of the scar. So this is like a hiking area up on the white tanks. The scar is where they were moving, but they did build a Four Seasons out here, so that tells you something. The white tanks are nice. They also have a waterfall that goes when it's raining out there. But between the white tanks and Superstition Mountains, it's hard to say which one's. I think people would rather hike in the Superstitions, but the white tanks are pretty nice. If you've already done the Superstitions through and through and you're just like, man, I've done the Superstitions, all right, the white tanks. If you've already done that, I mean, I personally like going out to the Tonto National Forest. I mean, that's what I do. I go out to the Tonto National Forest. If you get morning sunshine, sunlight every day, your body will learn how to protect you at midday. Yeah, so you acclimate your body. It's because you guys know that there's some people, they'll come out here from like Boston, for example, in the summertime in July, and they'll go hiking in the middle of summertime on vacation or with a friend, and they'll die hiking in Arizona because their body's not acclimated. So it shocks the body because they've never experienced the intense heat of Camelback Mountain in the middle of July at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. For those of you who live here, you know that's probably 114 degrees at least. And they'll go hiking and they won't bring very much water and they die. But people in Arizona, they'll go hiking it all the time because they're acclimated to it. Like she was saying, you got to get out there and get, morning sunshine, afternoon sunshine. So it does pay to go out there and get some sunshine, whether it's your back porch or doing some gardening or something. You got to get that sunshine if you live out here. Yeah, aloe is aloe vera, yeah. But aloe is not unique to just Arizona, by the way, or Mexico. I mean, aloe plants are all around the world, really. Yeah, there you go. Rick just said aloes are from Africa, agaves are from the Americas. Well, yeah, I mean, people will call it aloe vera out here too. They'll call it that. Spanish word. Superstitions Mountain is my backyard view and beautiful. Yeah, Superstitions are beautiful. I mean, that's some rugged desert terrain if you guys want to go exploring off-road. I actually got a video on the channel for those of you who want to see that about off-roading in Arizona. Let me see if I can pull that for you. If you want to see what it looks like to go off-roading into some of these places, let's see. Dang, I need to move up my Off-Road Arizona right here. So there's a whole playlist, off-roading in Arizona. This one's Box Canyon, Superstition Mountains. We went out there. This is kind of what it looks like, but we went out to Martinez Cabin, and let's see here. This is crazy out here. This is what it looks like, though. I mean, it's Box Canyon. They call it Box Canyon because when the stagecoaches would go through there, the Apaches would box them in. The Apache Indians would box in the stagecoaches. And, you know, that was a way to kind of stop the settlers from wanting to do mining up in the Superstitions. But the reason they're called the Superstitions, for those of you who don't know, is because it's a very superstitious area out there. But there's some gold out there, the Lost Dutchman. But people have superstitions about those mountains that date back all the way to the Native American folk stories and everything like that. But this is Box Canyon, but then you go through Box Canyon, you kind of come out into this like hillside area, and you do lots of climbing. I mean, I did this in a Ford Raptor. It was a little bit too wide body for it. Ideally, you'd want something like a dune buggy or a Polaris or something like that. It's a little smaller to get around this terrain, but I did this one in a Raptor. But you can see it's crazy out here. I mean, there's no cell phone service. If you break down, you get a flat tire, you're on your own out here, bud. So just letting you know, don't be expecting the modern conveniences of society out here on these Jeep trails. I mean, this is literally being out in the middle of nowhere. Okay. But people like to go out in the middle of nowhere. They like to push it. If you haven't already seen this video, go ahead and watch it. Arizona Off-Road Trail, Box Canyon, Superstition Mountains. I'll put a link to the whole playlist right in here so you guys can click on that if you want to go through those off-road. And then we did the Tortilla Flat, which is this is another Superstition Mountain. We actually did half of the Apache Trail because you can't do the Apache Trail all the way through right now because there was a big storm that took it out. But this is kind of what it looks like out there on the Apache Trail. It goes from pavement to all of a sudden dirt, right? This is dirt out there on the Apache Trail. It's a little bit easier than the Box Canyon one, I'll say that. What's the cactus place by Florence? Oh, yeah. Okay, let me show you that. So it's a mobile home park, right? The one out by Florence, Cactus Forest. It's like a retirement community. You got Rancho Sonora, which is like a dude ranch kind of mobile home park. They got lots of choias out here. Like people go out here and they just, I don't think it's legal though, but they'll get a big choya cactus skeleton and they'll put it in the back of their truck. But I don't think it's legal. You know those cactus skeletons? Because they got so many dang choyas out here. You gotta be careful walking out there. If you've never walked in the desert before, I wouldn't recommend just going too far into the desert with choya cactuses, because choya cactuses will be sitting on the ground. You just accidentally graze it, it flips up in the air, bam, it's stuck to your leg like Velcro. Someone said I did the Apache Trail prior to the washout. Yeah, the Apache Trail, it's not that, it's actually an easy one. It's much easier than Box Canyon. So if they ever open it up again and you wanted to do a trip on the Superstitions, you could do Apache Trail. It's pretty easy. It's not dangerous. I mean, I don't think it's dangerous. It didn't seem dangerous. I mean, I've done it all the way through also, and it wasn't that bad. I mean, I think it closes off like around here. No, wait. No, there's Canyon Lake. So the other way to do the Apache Trail from the north side is go up Roosevelt Lake, come down through Apache Lake, and then somewhere like right in here is where it's damaged. I guess if there was a stretch that was kind of iffy, it would be that stretch. But if you wanted to do the Superstition Mountains and you wanted to kind of like an easy one, hopefully they do the road repairs and fix that road. But the Apache Trail, I think if you really want to get your off-roading, you get an off-roading badge for sure if you do the Apache Trail. That's an off-road. It's like a stage. It's like a novice level off-road trek. If you wanted a beast of a trail, like where you get like a little bit more reward. I mean, obviously you could do the Box Canyon all the way up to Superior or to Kearney. I mean, that would be pretty gangster of you. You know, to go all the way through Box Canyon up here into till you meet Highway 177 or up into, because there's Martinez Cabin. That's where we went. But there's roads that will take you up above here, like Jeep trails that will take you up above here like this one, and you just meander through the desert until you get up here to Boyce Thompson, which is Superior. But if you really wanted to get down with like one that's not going to kick your butt completely, but will definitely jack you up, it's called the Senator Highway. We did that one also. Actually, now that I recall, see, off-road Arizona Trail, Kingman to Prescott. So that's called the Senator Trail or the Senator Highway. So this one right here will jack you up. And you come into Potato Patch, but you come up here onto the Bumblebee. And the Bumblebee is like, I think somewhere around here, you get off around Black Canyon City or just north of Black Canyon. It's the Bumblebee, right? So here's the Bumblebee. However you get on the Bumblebee, I don't really care. But anyway, the Bumblebee, you take the Bumblebee all the way up here to Crown King. And Crown King's like this little town. I don't even think Google Maps goes up there. Nope. Because it can't. It's too hard. But that road, reasonable. Going up to Crown King, that's reasonable. But once it starts to get real wild is once you get up here through Bradshaw City, because it's the Bradshaw Mountains, and you got to make it all the way through the Senator Highway right here. See, this is the Senator Highway. You're in no man's land. Again, no amenities, no gas. So you want to make sure you got enough gas. You want to make sure you got enough water. You want to make sure you got a spare tire. But you do the Senator Highway until you get up here into I mean, Palace Station's like a big mark along the way. That's like like, you know, you're getting close to halfway, or you're past halfway when you're up here. This is what you need: a Razor. You need a Razor for these, or a Jeep. But that's the Senator Highway, and then you come up into Potato Patch, Goldwater Lake, and then Groom Creek, and then you're finally into Prescott, and then you just take the 69 to the 17 and home. That's for those of you who are really looking to do some exploring, the Senator Highway. But I will tell you right now, for 3 hours, your body and your kid's body and your wife, or you and your friend, whoever you guys are going with, or if girls are going to go, your body's going to be like this. I mean, you're going to be gyrating the whole way because the road is rough. It's a rough road. It's a rough road. But it's cool out there. It's cool. Toyota says, never off-road alone. Go with another vehicle at least. 4 or 9 is better. Yeah. I mean, as much as that advice makes sense, it seemed like I didn't see any like caravans of off-roaders out there. It was pretty much lone wolf off-roaders breaking that rule. Yeah, I mean, you should, especially if you're a rookie at off-roading, you should go with at least a crew. And there's off-roading groups you can join. I'm a member of Baja, the Baja Arizona Baja people who like to do the Baja. You know, there's that race, the Baja 1000, and so they go off road all the way from basically Tijuana, well, northern Baja California Norte to Baja California Sur, and that's 1,000 miles, and that's the Baja 1000. That's the ultimate. That's the ultimate off-roading. But out here in Arizona, you can get some ultimate off-roading for sure. It's just not going to be 1,000 miles of Baja desert. Like when they're making a video or when they're making a truck, they're calling it the Baja Edition because the Baja is legit. Someone said, is Camp Verde expensive? No. Camp Verde is not expensive at all. I'd be surprised if Camp Verde is expensive. I mean, it could have gone up, but last time I checked, Camp Verde was pretty cheap. Looks like they're doing some building in Camp Verde. The area that I would recommend checking out, that this area is, when this area goes, it's going to be big. Oh, I love this Indian Maiden Falls. Have you guys been there? That's a beautiful place, but it's a hike. It's Indian Maiden. I think it's in West Clear Creek. They got East Clear Creek. Clear Creek is just basically this whole canyon ravine. They got a spring, the headwaters up there. But there's a lot of stuff in that Clear Creek. That's a beautiful hike. If you could ever do it, I'd need a couple days to do it. I mean, it's probably rougher. I would say that hike in the Clear Creek is probably harder than Grand Canyon. Michelle says, yeah, my girl just moved out there last week, so she's finding stuff to do. Her son stays in Sedona, but yeah, she loves it. Want to just explore, really. Yeah, there's a lot of places to explore around Camp Verde, like I was saying, because there's that Clear Creek that's really close to there. They got that Montezuma Castle, which is along the Verde, right? Or wait, is that the Verde? Yeah, that's the Verde, right? But that's Montezuma's castle. This is kind of how it used to look, but this is what it looks like now. Where's all the pictures? Jeez. What are they? They don't show any pictures of the actual Montezuma Castle. That's Wapaki. That's not Montezuma. So that's what Montezuma Castle looks like. You guys could kind of see it. It's basically a cliff dwelling. They lived on a cliff in the Montezuma was the king of the Aztecs, by the way. He was not living up in Arizona. He was living down in more like Tenochtitlan and Teotihuacan in Mexico. But anyway, they got a casino over here. They got the Cliff Castle Casino. That's down there out by... so if you wanted to do a day trip, you just go up to Camp Verde, stay at the hotel, or do some gaming at Cliff Castle. I know the Verde's over here, but isn't this part... What is this? This is a creek, right? Is this Clear Creek? Man. See, it doesn't say on the map. I think that's Clear Creek. Or it's like the east fork of the Verde. Because I know it definitely pours into the Verde. Yeah, they got the Montezuma's well over there too. It's some people do some diving into the Montezuma well. Let's see here. Lake Montezuma. Some people do mining or diving in there. Supposedly it's deep. But this area right here, you could definitely get some cheap land. As a matter of fact, there's some cheap land right here in Rimrock. Just not Red Rock, but Rimrock. You can definitely get some cheap land out here in Rimrock. There it is, Rimrock. Actually, there's Montezuma's well. Right here. This one's the deep one. They do deep dives. You can park right there. What's up, Brett from Australia? Yeah, Arizona's a cool place. Yavapai Apache tribe in Camp Verde. Yes, the Yavapai Apache. There's the White Mountain Apache, which is Apache Sitgreaves area. So you have different Apache tribes, but the one that's Yavapai, the Yavapai Council, as you would call them, because they govern over that region, they're the ones who manage the Cliff Castle Casino. Where's everyone watching from? It looks like we got, yeah, people are just saying where they're watching from. So I guess this is location check, Arizona check, where you guys tuning in from. But yeah, check out this Rimrock, guys. I'm telling you, man, people are sleeping on Rimrock, but I tried to buy land out in Rimrock not too long ago, and they wanted me to, I'd have to dig my own well. So if you're looking to do like off-grid, you don't really have a choice but to be off-grid in Rimrock, because I think once you're on this side of, oh no, it's Beaver Creek. That's what it was, Beaver Creek. Okay, so when you're on this side, the west side of the Beaver Creek, you're all good. It's you know, you can, you're gonna have utilities. But once you cross the Beaver Creek over to this side, it's more, you're gonna be pulling off well water or something like that. Let's see, I was actually looking at land up here, I think. See how they kind of already carved out the land, but for example, you can get 3 acres. I was going to get 3 acres. It was like $30,000 for 3 acres, $32,000. But most of it, like only a portion of it I could build on. The rest was like land that was going down into it was cliffs. It was cliffs. so you couldn't like build on it unless you built one of those stilt homes, with the deck going out over the Beaver Creek. But that was cool. It's just you got a real small piece of flat land and you had to build a well. With all things considered, I was like, I'll stay in Phoenix for now. But that would have been a great investment, I would say. But also a great investment for peace and serenity, because people aren't going to be moving there for the next 10 years at least. It will become something someday, but right now, no. All right, we got Prescott Valley in the house. We got Orange County in the house. We got Vegan Tacos coming in. She's from Vegan Tacos. Would you avoid land with a POA? POA? I know what an HOA is, but what's a POA? Homeowners Association? Property? What? Property Owners Association? What's a POA? A POA, point of attack. Coming in from Maine, USA, Austin, Texas, Eugene, Oregon, Thatcher, Arizona. We just talked about Thatcher, actually. The Hualapai hikes in Kingman are gorgeous. Yeah, so Kingman has become very popular recently. Let's see if I can get up to Kingman. So here's Hualapai. And they got the Gold King Mansion, which is a place I kind of talked about before. You could drive up there. The interesting thing about this, so again, mining is a big thing in Arizona. Well, they built this house for miners. So the interesting thing was the floor, the second level, the floor is not made out of wood. It's made out of concrete. So they poured the concrete floor, which is actually rare because the roofs are concrete. You don't typically get houses that have concrete roofs, but this place right here, when they built it concrete roof. And so that's like an old mansion they call it the Gold King Mansion, but they were mining gold out of here. But you can go up in here, you got Wild Cow Campground, it's all on BLM land. So, if you're gonna do this area, you probably do like a couple days up here. You do the Hualapai Peak, and you check out Kingman. Nothing really to see in Kingman unless you like fast food. If you like fast food, they got two of pretty much everything. They got 2 McDonald's, 2 Burger Kings, 2 Panda Expresses. I mean, that's Kingman is like the main pit stop for going to Vegas. But if you're going to go over there, then I would recommend going out to like Lake Mojave or go to this Willow Beach. Willow Beach is where you can do some kayaking because the water is emerald colored. It's like emerald colored. And they got caves out here. But that cave right there. Don't tell anyone I told you about that, because people will not be happy if it got overblown. But no, this is Colorado River. You can do all that on a trip. So you do Hualapai. You got the Hualapai mountains, and then you got the Colorado, and then you can come all the way down into Bullhead City, Laughlin. That's a cool place. This Laughlin. This is like my grandpa used to go to Laughlin all the time. He preferred. This was before they had Indian gaming casinos. He would just go to Laughlin for sports bets, because now Arizona can do sports bets. At least from what I understood. I actually downloaded one of the apps. I haven't done it yet. But Laughlin was like where people would go because it's closer than Vegas. It's on the other side of Bullhead City. But now, I mean, Laughlin's like the poor man's Vegas, but you could see they got like the Tropicana Laughlin. I mean, this is what it looks like. $35 a night. Look at this. It's right there on the Colorado. I would just go to the Tropicana Laughlin just for the cheap prices and to chill out on the Colorado. The Arizona side is Bullhead City, but there's nothing in Bullhead City for me. Is there anything in Bullhead City for you? But the Nevada side's got the gaming. They got the hotels. I think they got a Harrah's. The Harrah's is pretty nice. Let's see what the Harrah's is going for. $45 a night. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they're because of all the Indian gaming casinos, people aren't going to Laughlin like they used to. But this is an awesome casino. It's just kind of haggard and run down because everyone stopped going there, especially during COVID. But I mean, look at the lot. I mean, this was a palace at one point. This was the big spot back in the 80s and 90s. People from Phoenix, before the Indian gaming, they used to go to Laughlin in Vegas. But that's the Harrah's. But they got a beach right here. Look at this. Right along the Colorado. It's pretty chill. I mean, you could take the kids there and do some swimming. Let's see here. Where is the... See, they have a ferry system that actually takes you across up and down the river here. I don't know if it's still operational, but I'd imagine it is. But lots of water activity along the Colorado right here. It's a wide river too. Oatman? Yeah, Oatman. People like going to Oatman just to feed the donkeys. Right here. It's right here when you're walking through the town. Look at that. Look at that old... It's an old mining village, right? Look at the donkey right here. See? Or that's a mule. I'm sorry. So you guys know a mule is a cross between a donkey and a burro? No, wait. Damn, I'm drawing a brain fart right now. What is a mule? It's a mix between... No, a horse and a donkey. Right? Yeah, that's Oatman. It's an old rustic mining town, but nowadays they got these wild mules. See them? And so people go there to go feed them and take pictures for their Instagram. Yeah, donkey and a horse. So it's a little bit bigger than a donkey. But they can't reproduce. But yeah, so here's the old historic Oatman. But they got some awesome stuff out in this desert. It's like definitely like the hills have eyes out here. I think it's one of the most underrated places in Arizona, really. Okay, there's Bullhead City. But if you go down here to Lake Havasu, actually to Parker Dam, they got some crazy like bars out here. Like, okay, so when I say Parker, it's not actually Parker. The area you want to go is Senega Springs, right here. And see these bars right here? They do these bars and these homes right along the waterfront. It's cool, man. Like, this is chilling. But you don't want to be here in this area during the summertime because it will just cook you, literally. But, you know, people living right on the water, and they got this... This are old pictures they got right here. They got this like canals. So people are living on the Colorado River with canal access. And let's see here. Oh, see, it's a private community. They don't even let you in. But you go up here, right here. They got these bars, right? Let's see. Look at these. They got mansions. Those are some mansions. But let's see here. Oh. Dang, I'm trying to find the oh, right here, Sundance Saloon. You guys want to check that one out when you go there. This place is cool, man. It's right there you go there, right on the water. Good vibes. It's fun. Sundance Saloon. And then you got she says, what about Wickenburg? I'll show you Wickenburg. And then you got Fox's Floating Bar. So this is like a floating bar. Right there on the Colorado. So they got all these, there's so many of these little bars like that just out there, right there on the water. And so this is in Havasu, right? I think it's one of the most underrated places in Arizona, really. But it's just so hot out there in the summertime, so people don't go out there. But it's like the Parker Strip, right? And then there's some bars that are up in the, like, one of the best bars. Let's see. Where is it? I know I'm going to find it. Oh, right here. Is this it? Check this place out. Nelly Saloon, the Desert Bar. This place is crazy, man. Have any of you guys ever been here? It's like a crazy like hangout spot up in the mountains up above Havasu. See, look, it gets going. Gets going up here. Like they were saying, lots of Californians go there because it's literally on the border of California. But they got barbecue, you know, some hikes, but it's some rugged terrain. especially in the summertime. I mean, it's cooking, but it's a crazy place. If you guys go out there, that's just right there in Havasu, right below. You could do that on a Kingman trip. So you do Oatman, you do Kingman, and Havasu on the same trip. And actually, you can actually get to all of those by going through Wickenburg. Wickenburg is right here. So you would go up to these places on Highway 60. Wickenburg is a cool place if you want to buy land, live out in the hills. Wickenburg is an old cowboy town. It was actually, I think at some point, it was bigger than Phoenix at some point because it's named after the guy Wickenburg. That was his last name. But they had a mine out here called Vulture City. Let's see, Vulture City Mine. Let me see. Yeah, Vulture City Ghost Town. So this was off the beaten path for sure, but this was like one of the biggest mines in Arizona at the time. Vulture City Ghost Town. It's a ghost town now. But they were growing the food down in Phoenix in the valley, and they were running it up here to the miners up in Vulture City. Nowadays, they do mining in Arizona, and they do it at a large scale. The main company out here is Freeport-McMoRan. And in case you guys don't know about Freeport-McMoRan, hey guys, keep hitting the likes if you guys want me to keep going. We're at 217. Smash the likes. 217. Let's get it to 250. But anyway, this area right here, that's if you haven't already hit the likes. But the main mine now, you can see at an industrial level, is in Baghdad. This is Baghdad. And it's pretty much literally just a mining village, Baghdad. And the amount of mine, this is copper. This is a copper mine owned by Freeport-McMoRan. Big mining industry. This is where you get those trucks that are, that have tires that are twice the size of me, and I'm 6'2". But they go all the way down here to the bottom of the Baghdad mine in those big old trucks. Those are heavy equipment. It's heavy equipment, earth movers. And they're extracting copper out of here. So you got this mine. It's a Freeport-McMoRan mine. Let's see if we can get it. Yeah. That's an aerial of it. When you fly to Vegas, you'll fly over this. If you get the window seat, you'll see the Baghdad mine. But you can see how deep it is. I mean, this is a heck of an operation they're running. That's Baghdad. And so they're still doing the mines. They just do it at an industrial level now. And then, like I was telling you, the biggest mine in the state and one of the biggest in the country is actually, or in the whole world, is in Morenci. This mine right here, this is a huge operation out in Morenci. And again, there's nothing really in Morenci out here, okay, except for the mine. People are living out here in Baghdad. They're living in Morenci because of the mines. But that's the Morenci mine. And then they got the other one, which is the closest one you can get to is in Globe, Miami. But I mean, the scarring on the land, you could see, it's pretty intense, the amount of scarring on the land. But it is Freeport-McMoRan. See, gold and copper. So they're pulling they're double dipping here. They're getting copper and gold out of it. But this is an industrial level. But before it was, that's what those ghost towns were. When you see the ghost towns around Arizona, it was because the miners were out there mining gold in their hills, mining copper, mining silver, because that's what Tombstone was good for, was silver, right? It wasn't copper or gold. Okay, so Tombstone was a silver mine, and they call it a ghost town, but it's really not a ghost town. But again, the reason they call them ghost towns is because after the mine stopped producing precious metals, the only thing that was left was the ghost of the past. That's why they call it a ghost town, not because it's haunted, but because when it gets registered or incorporated with the state, and then it's a boom town. People are living there. They're moving there because they're going to go mine gold, and they're mining silver and copper. But then what happens is once the mine stops producing, like at some point, Baghdad, Morenci will all stop producing, depending on how deep the deposit or the deposit is of the precious metal. Or if the world moves away from copper, a demand for copper or gold, and the price of copper and gold goes down to where it's no longer cost efficient to mine that deposit. So I mean, there's multiple different factors that play, because that's what causes a ghost town, right? Is the miners got to leave because it's no longer profitable. And so you have a lot of those ghost towns like Vulture City. There's even an awesome one out here. I don't know if you guys know about, well, awesome in the sense that there's amazing history involving it. that would trip you out, but Ruby right here. I might be going down there. But this is the Ruby Ghost Town. If you guys ever get a book called Ghost Towns of Arizona, Ruby's one of the ones you'll see in there. And it's truly a ghost town, as in no one lives there. But the town of Ruby was a big deal. You can see this is an adobe house. If you don't know what adobe is, adobe's a mud brick. It's got like a mud brick. And back in the old days when the natives were using adobe, because they were the ones who introduced the Spanish to mud brick, they would put like a hay in there, which is like these see those little bushes you see around there? It's like a hay, right? So they'd put like those fabric, or what do they call that? Fibers in there, along with some other glue bonding agents. And I think the glue that they would use was like a cactus kind of glue. I don't know the exact glue that they would use to harden it more than mud, because mud is only so good because it'll erode when it rains. So that's why they would put stucco on it, right? They would stucco it. It's a stucco on top of the adobe. But when you're out in Arizona, you start noticing that, because that's not block, that's not cement. That's mud. That's mud brick. See, here's some more mud brick, adobe. But this is Ruby right here. It's a real ghost town. As in, like, the only thing that's left there is the ghost of the past. Someone said nothing charming about Kingman. Yeah, no, there's not too much in Kingman for me. But it's cold in the winter and it's hot in the summer. I'm good. You get like, the weather's the thing that I don't really like. Man, look at this Sycamore Canyon. If this doesn't make you want to get out and just explore, I don't know what would. Cool thing about this is where the De Anza Trail is, because De Anza goes right through here. Here's the Tamacari mission. Old Spanish mission right here. Best Denny's is in Kingman. Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that I could think of to do in Kingman is go out to dinner or go to Walmart and hang out in the parking lot and see where your friends are. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding, but I'm saying, like, I'm sure there's more to it than that. I mean, you could definitely do off-roading in Kingman. You can definitely probably go to a couple bars in Kingman. Yeah. Best thing to do in Kingman is leave Kingman. No, I'm just kidding. People like Kingman because it's cheap. It's cheap. Kingman's a cheap place, but there's nothing to do in terms of lifestyle. You'd have to, I would say, don't move to Kingman unless you know people there. Because if you don't know anyone there, after a while, 6 months to a year of living in Kingman, between the weather and the lack of things to do, most people who live in Kingman, they actually use it as a base camp. So they buy a house in Kingman and then they base camp out of there with their RV. So they just have a base, a home base, and then they just kind of drive their RV all around the West. Because at the end of the day, we're around a state that's probably becoming one of the most popular tourist destinations in the country. I mean, the Four Corners region is becoming extremely popular, except for New Mexico. New Mexico has not. But Colorado, Utah, and Arizona are becoming some of the most popular places around the whole world to explore. But Utah in particular, because of all of its everything it's got in southern Arizona or southern Utah, they've got obviously Zion National Park, which is, I mean, it's become one of the most popular parks in all the world. Really, it is. I mean, look at 29,000 reviews. So they got Zion. Then they got Capitol Reef up here. You know, that girl Gabby Petito, right? She was up there by when that stuff happened was in Moab, which is by Arches. So this whole area, you got Capitol Reef, you got Arches, and then you got Zion, and you got St. George. St. George right here. This is like the big town again. But Rise Above says that's what he wants: base camp and escape from calming California. Well, if you're looking for a base camp that's cheap and you want to do the mobile home thing, you might like Kingman. If I'm going to do a base camp in Arizona and I'm looking for cheap land, I'm doing base camp, I'm probably looking more towards Show Low, Pinetop Lakeside, this area. Like someone was even saying Snowflake Taylor. I would do Heber Overguard. Heber Overguard, for real, is centrally located and not too expensive. So I would say that would be it. All you guys talking about Kingman, you only know about Kingman because everyone's going to Kingman because people are talking about it, and that's going to force the prices to go up. But no one's talking about Heber Overguard. And so you could get some cheap land. I dare you to go online and just type in land around Heber Overguard. I think you could score or Snowflake. Between Heber Overguard, Snowflake, and if you wanted like the cheapest land you could find in all the country, probably right here in St. John's. There's some cheap land out here. But I'm telling you guys, if you guys are trying to move to these places, there ain't nothing out there, man. That's why it's so cheap. Okay? But St. John's, if you look on cheapland.com, I think that's the name of the website. I mean, you guys are making me want to go to cheapland.com, cheapland.com. Let's just pull it up here. Oh, what did they do? Dude, what kind of scam is that? Did I spell it wrong? Did they do away with it? What the heck? Anyway, it used to be called cheapland.com, or someone's probably trying to sell that domain. But if you do some cheap land research on Google, you will find that St. John's, Heber Overguard, Snowflake, way cheaper than Kingman. And it's better weather because it gets good weather in the summertime, but it gets actually like 4 seasons, I guess you could say. Whereas Kingman, I don't know if you get 4 seasons in Kingman. Okay, well, Linda likes it because it's close to her grandma in Boulder City. Yeah, Kingman is closer to Vegas. Okay, Boulder City is like a suburb outside of Vegas, but Show Low, Pinetop, this whole area right here is where I'd be looking if I was you. What's rent in Scottsdale right now? $2,500? No, it's like, yeah, that's like for a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom. If you're trying, yeah, and that's, yeah, Scottsdale's expensive right now. What about Southern Arizona? Well, we just went over Southern Arizona, but for cheap land, you could probably find some pretty cheap land. I'm not going to tell you because I'm zeroing in on it. So I love Southern Arizona. I don't want to say it too much right now because I know that if I start talking about it, it's people are going to be like, oh, but this is all right. I'll give you an area. I'll give you an idea. So, okay, it's down in that area, but this is it right up in here. You guys don't know nothing about this yet. I've been telling people, I guess. Yeah, actually. You go there, and if you really want peace and quiet, you want your cabin, you want your off the grid, you want to be like in a beautiful paradise, untouched land, that's it. I just showed you. That's southeast, yeah, southeast Arizona. It's in the mountains. Let me put it like this. If you find a green mountain around that area, I've talked about it on this channel before, but you could get some good stuff, like Bisbee, dude. Like a lot of hippies go to Bisbee. Go check out Bisbee, man. Bisbee's I don't see a problem with Bisbee. I mean, you can see it's not too overgrown, but if you really want it, I mean, you could do Bisbee easy. Bisbee's going under the radar. Like, it was one of Arizona's biggest cities, actually. In fact, this is where Phelps Dodge was headquartered. They were going to bring, in the 1900s, they were going to bring a pro baseball team to Bisbee. This was before Phoenix was anything. When Phoenix was just a little stagecoach pass. You know, we're talking like 1800s. And Phoenix was never really that small. I mean, it grew really quickly. But Bisbee was like the biggest city in Arizona, along with like Prescott. Nice. Bisbee, man. People are sleeping on Bisbee. I dare you to go down there and just look for yourself. Northeastern Arizona? Well, northeastern Arizona, you can't really do too much there because it's Navajo Nation. It's Indian reservation. But when I see Navajo Nation, but it's beautiful. I mean, the Grand Canyon 2.0 is right there, like Kenyatta. You can't live there, but it's Canyon de Chelly. If you go to Canyon de Chelly, let's see, Canyon de Chelly. This right here, you can camp. I think it's closed right now because of all this stuff, but that's some views in Canyon de Chelly. But it's Native American. It's a reservation. It's beautiful up there in Canyon de Chelly. They get snowpack up there. Look at that! Look at that! Cliff dwellers. Could you imagine living in that cliff? Wow. They probably had those ladders, you know, like those wood ladders. But this is Canyon de Chelly. If you guys haven't been there, whew, man, you're missing out. It's a beautiful place, but it's up there by Four Corners. See, they still got the this is like Arizona's Machu Picchu. It really is. It's just the tribes, they don't want people coming up there. But it's rich. It's rich in history, the Navajo and all that. Yeah, you need a Navajo guide. So, but I'm just giving you an idea of what kind of stuff is up here. Like, this civilization existed in this valley, in this area here, and yeah, it's nice. But then they have nearby here. They have this place called up in Colorado. It's called Mesa Verde. See this right here? This is probably the best. This is in Colorado, by the way, not Arizona. This is probably the best. This is America's Machu Picchu. That's Mesa Verde. Best preserved Native American civilizations in Mesa Verde in Colorado. But it's really close to northern Arizona by the Navajo Nation. See those ladders, the wood ladders? I think that's how they would get up there. But yeah, someone said at least 1/3 of Arizona is actually Indian land reservation. I don't know if it's 1/3, it might be 1/4, but I think they did say, there was some statistic that said it was 1/3, but it doesn't feel like it. But this whole area right here, like northeastern Arizona, that's why no one really talks about it, because it's Native American land. You can't really go there. They got the Hopi, Navajo. I mean, there's some places in here that'll blow your mind, but you can't get there. There's some there's some places up in here that'll blow your mind as how people were living back then. But you got to talk to the natives to even get in there. Tuba City, that might be the closest you can get. Or Page, that might be the closest you can get. Jose says, I wouldn't set foot in Phoenix without one in the chamber within arm's reach. Man, Phoenix is not that dangerous at all, man. I'm not trying to make light of the situation, but Phoenix is... What part of Phoenix are you trying to do that? Because I don't think you need to take it to that extreme. Okay, Maverick says, I have cousins in Second Mesa Apache here. Okay, so he's talking about Second Mesa. That's the Hopi. In fact, if you guys actually are considering going up to the Navajo Nation or to the Hopi Reservation, I would recommend that you at least do your history and go to a museum in Phoenix called there's a museum down here in Central Phoenix. It's called oh man, why am I drawing a blank? I've been there like recently. Hold on. It's like the best museum in Arizona. Man. Why am I drawing a blank? Herd. It's the Herd Museum. So go to the Herd Museum and talk to the guides in the herd, and they will tell you about the Hopi and the Navajo. These are Kachinas, and they'll explain to you what a Kachina is. And the significance of a kachina and the why they would dance and do that, and then but the turquoise, because turquoise and silver is very precious to the Native American people, and there's actually a spiritual association with turquoise. So that's why you'll see a lot of like old time Arizona natives, or not just natives but locals. They also wear turquoise. So people, when they're wearing the jewelry out in Arizona, they're wearing turquoise and silver, because that's what that's like the energy, the spirit of the land is like turquoise. Someone said, "What am I smoking today?" I haven't smoked nothing. Should I? Mastin Star says, "I went to her museum when I visited Arizona years ago." Yeah. Adam in turquoise and silver, locals wear it a lot. Yeah, and they have the bolo tie, right? So turquoise. There's actually a channel on YouTube where they talk about old Native American teachings. It's let me see here. Here, I'll help you guys with this. Turquoise. This guy. So it's Navajo Traditional Teachings. Oh. But the channel is Navajo Traditional Teachings. They got 143,000 subscribers. I'm subscribed on my other channel, but he teaches you right here about turquoise. But he's a good teacher because he's easy to understand. He's like, when you listen to him, he'll like, he communicates with you, like you understand what he's saying. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyways, guys, I've been on here for a long time. Thanks to everyone who hit the like button and commented, and we'll see you guys on the next one. And I'll try to do more of these if I can. Oh man, there's so many good questions coming in. Where does flagstone used in backyards mostly come from? Some have painted desert colors. Oh man, see, you guys asked so many good questions. Flagstone, you know, that's a good question. I know where to get it. I don't think it comes from Arizona. I think it comes from elsewhere. But I know what you're saying about, because yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly. I'd have to look into the flagstone. I know you can get flagstone out here. You can also get, not tourmaline, but travertine. But the travertine comes from Turkey. So, you know, but all the homes out here have flagstone, or they have travertine. So we'll see. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks to all the new subscribers, too. And the continued subscribers.